There she goes.
It's already late morning here at Garana, and despite our recent run of early morning good luck, today has been a little slower. These marsh sections are literally popping up overnight with the trickle of water into our section of the delta, and we've just come across this herd of buffalo.
With this being my first time to the Okavango Delta, it's just mind-blowing how quickly this water fills up. 1 minute, or rather one day, you'll come through these areas and it's bone dry to the point where you can off-road over the floodplain following all sorts of animals. And you come here maybe a week later and it's just this crystal blue mirror that shines back at you.
You can see them arriving in single file. That's typical of how they group themselves when travelling over longer distances. But now that they're here, you'll notice the herd is bunching up as they stop for a drink or to cool down.
Look at how even as they cross through the grasslands, you can actually see the water splashing up. So it's not just deep puddles. There's also these little swamps that have been created on the edge. So these buffalo have probably just come here to get the water. And especially because further down south, there's actually still no water. It's coming, slowly. We've been trying to monitor the progress. But compared to up here, there's almost nothing. There's actually so many that it's hard to fit them into the frame. That's crazy. There's just more and more coming. Oh, and look, there's even a little baby going across. A little calf. Well, it looks like these buffalo are starting to head into the thickets. They're just drinking out of the marshlands and then moving off. But what a spectacular sight. Definitely worth a stop to just marvel at.
While I was thoroughly engrossed in watching these buffalo, Barden had been watching what he called some strange shapes moving around a shady patch in the distance. We've come across for a closer look, and turns out it's a cheetah and her 3 cubs. Not what we were expecting to pop up, but very welcome nonetheless. Just like me, she's been watching those buffalo we were with earlier to see if they've noticed her. But with all this water around, I'm sure the buffalo have other things on their minds. It seems a bit odd to call these guys cubs because they're quite big, but I would estimate them to be around maybe 7 months old. She must have done an incredible job getting them to that age, because raising 3 cubs on your own is no easy feat. She's not resting though, so I get a sense that she's going to start moving soon. But there's nothing around here at the moment for her to hunt, so she's going to have to keep going. There we go, there's a big stretch. and a little headbutt from one of the youngsters. Now that they're up and about, I'm having a look at their bellies, and they're looking a little hungry to me. Her strategy is interesting. She was using the thickets to conceal herself when she was trying to scan. But now that she's seen that there's nothing in the area, look at how she walks across the open plains to cover the distance quicker. And that allows her to save more energy in case she does actually find something. She's just climbed up onto this mound, using it to scan over the swamps. There is a lechwe, which she may be able to take on if she uses the right strategy, but it is, however, on the other side of the water, so I doubt she'll try. I think she was hoping more for something to come down for a drink now that it's hot. The cubs are getting a little impatient, it seems. Time for a little break, but she's still scanning in the meantime. The wind has also picked up a fair amount since we found her, which I'm sure is messing with her senses, and that's probably why she's chosen to rest in the sun rather than under a noisy bush. Oh, there's some impala! I doubt they've seen her, otherwise they'd be alarm calling, but they've picked up on something that's made them insecure, so they've moved towards some sage thickets. She keeps looking back to make sure the cubs are following, but look at how big of a gap she's left between herself and them. The only reason I can think of as to why she may be doing this is so that if she spots something to hunt from a distance, she's able to give a quick signal to the cubs to stay put, and that gives her a chance to get closer without them giving away her position. We are going to be watching from a distance because right now the cheetah and her cubs are directly between us and the impala. And I mentioned that the wind would be affecting her senses, and the same goes for the impala. So if we were to turn on the vehicle now, it would more than likely draw the attention of the impala, which could then give away her position if they spot her. And she's got no cover to work with, so it's going to be really tricky for her to go unnoticed already. Oh, the impala are moving away. Shoot. The cubs have given up, it seems, but Mum certainly hasn't. She's still watching those impala. The impala are actually watching her, but she's still quite a distance from them. And because she's not walking in that typical cat fashion, she seems to have hidden herself in plain sight because they can't identify what she is. Oh, that's so clever. Oh, she's getting so close. Now that she's got cover, these impala have no clue what's coming. It looks like the cubs had the same idea. Look at how they're watching her from a distance as well. She's clearly told them to just watch and learn. Oh, there she goes. There she goes. She's trying. Oh, she's going for it.
There she goes.
That was so fast. Barden and I have been sitting here for a few hours waiting to see what would play out here. And from the time she started sprinting up to now, it took maybe a minute, give or take. Absolute madness. That's just crazy. You can tell she's an experienced hunter as well. She went straight for the throat, and that impala did not make a single sound. Oh Mum's up, and it looks like she's headed for some nearby shade. So let's try go around and get a different angle. She must be boiling hot. I mean, let's put ourselves in her shoes for a minute. The temperature is currently around 36 degrees Celsius. And if I had to take a wild guess at how fast she got when chasing those impala, I think she could have easily reached about 50 kilometers an hour, which is just less than half of her top speed potential. I mean, if I was her, I would feel absolutely shattered. And on top of that, she still has to protect these cubs, who are not paying any attention to what's going on around them. But there could be predators in the area, and so if they heard all the commotion that's just gone on, they might very well come to investigate. And she's got to do all of this while still trying to catch her breath and cool herself off. They're playing with it. Now this may seem a bit cruel, but this is how these cubs are going to fine-tune their motor skills when it comes to having to kill something on their own. And what better way to practice than on something that Mum has already caught? So after all of that, I think she's earned the right to enjoy her meal in peace. And so we are going to start heading back to camp.
Having guided in areas where cheetah are fairly common to come across, I can safely say they never disappoint. But out here in the Okavango Delta, they're not super easy to see. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this?
Wow, this is very special because this is my first time to see this special sighting.
No way!
Yeah, because it's not easy to see this kind of sighting. Maybe the virtual safari has got a good charm. Hoping to see you next time.
I love it!